A summary of everything that is stated in this video may be found on the CoinMarketCap website. I would also like to remind you to give my channel a like and subscribe to it so that you can stay up to date on future XRP news, as well as other cryptocurrency news in general. Take a look at this now, shall we? Compared to SAC Inglis, Ripple won final attempt to contest the victory of XRP. As the deadline for the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to submit an appeal in the Ripple lawsuit approaches near, the cryptocurrency market is facing a spike in speculation. This increases the amount of speculation that is occurring. Prior to the deadline of October 7th, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) must make a choice regarding whether or not they will challenge the decisions that Judge Torres has made in the XRP case. The deadline for filing an appeal lies on October 7th. The former solicitors for the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mark Fagel and James Farrell, have both expressed a high level of confidence that the regulatory agency will pursue an appeal by stating that they are confident that the appeal will be successful. They are arguing that if they do not take this step, it might potentially damage the position of the agency because the SEC was unsuccessful. This is the point that they are making. Because of its programmatic sales, which is a major cause for concern. Even further, Fagel has suggested that the SEC should submit a timeframe for the appeal from the perspective of the appeal perspective. On the other hand, attorney Fred Rispoli noted that he believes the Securities and Exchange Commission is still unsure about whether or not it will appeal the decision. When it comes to making decisions, I wait until the very last possible moment to settle on one. On top of that, he is of the opinion that the Securities and Exchange Commission might still be contemplating the course of action that it will take, and that it might not reveal its decision until the very last possible moment. The world of cryptocurrencies, particularly those who own XRP, is keeping a close eye on the most recent developments as the time for filing an appeal grows closer. Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderoty, has stated that the company plans to focus on the permanent nature of the ruling that was handed down in August. This statement was made by Alderoty. It has been declared by him that there should be no appeal, and that both parties should move on with their lives. Additionally, Ripple has been successful in obtaining a stay order from the court, which will temporarily prevent the payment of the $125 million penalty to the SEC. This will occur while the court evaluates whether or not to appeal the verdict. Ripple is afforded some financial flexibility as the legal situation continues to develop as a result of this action, which is particularly important given the current level of uncertainty regarding the SEC. It was said in the filing that the Securities and Exchange Commission, which was signed in the Binance case, did not include any mention of an appeal against the summary judgment that Judge Torres ordered regarding XR programmatic sales. With this omission, there has been an increase in speculation over the approach that the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) may take moving forward. This submission also included an apology for the Securities and Exchange Commission's executive use of the term crypto asset security, which Alderoty had previously criticized the agency for. Alderoty had previously criticized the regulator for using the term. Elon Musk may use the status of XRP as a weapon against the Securities and Exchange Commission, according to Fred Rispoli, who is also of the opinion that this might represent a new source of troubles for the SEC. Rispoli suggested that Musk should include XRP in X's payment system, and he used the phrase "poke the SEC in the eye" to express his opinion. He viewed this as an opportunity to expose the truth, with the intention of causing the Securities and Exchange Commission sector to become agitated. The incorporation of XRP and other cryptocurrencies would be the best course of action, despite the fact that it would render them powerless. That the Securities and Exchange Commission has used the phrase legally protected by a fraud but has failed to label as securities. The apparent reluctance of Musk to proceed in this direction was brought to light by Rispoli. He also brought out the fact that such caution is not typical of the entrepreneur in the technology industry. In light of the ongoing investigation that the Securities and Exchange Commission is conducting into Musk's acquisition of Twitter for $44 billion, Rispoli made this remark. Rispoli's comment was made in response to the probe. Musk is being penalized by the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) for allegedly neglecting to appear in court for many days. She will have the ability to file an appeal against the final verdict that was given down on August 7th in the XRP dispute, and the United States Securities and Exchange Commission will provide her the opportunity to do so sooner rather than later. In addition, a well-known crypto celebrity known as Jack the Rippler Replexby made a comment on X in which he indicated that the matter would soon be permanently ended without an appeal. This statement represents a growing sentiment among supporters. An appeal can be submitted by the regulatory body until the 7th of October 2024. Putting an end to the legal fight and moving forward with the future of XRP is something that a lot of people in the community are looking forward to with great anticipation. This date is something that they are looking forward to more than anything else. Many others, on the other hand, continue to be skeptical because they are under the impression that the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) would wait until the very last minute to submit an appeal. Ripple was accused of raising more than $1.3 billion through the sale of unregistered securities in the infamous lawsuit regarding XRP that was filed in December 2020 by the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). This complaint marked the beginning of the legal war between Ripple and the SEC. The statement made by the SEC that XRP operates as an unregistered security was vigorously rejected by Ripple. These assertions were made by the SEC. In July of 2023, the court issued a verdict that further clarity to the situation with XRP. As a result of the verdict, it was determined that XRP itself did not qualify as a security, and that sales conducted by non-institutional entities did not constitute an offering of securities. On the other hand, the court ruled in August that Ripple is required to pay $125 billion and that it will not violate any securities regulations in the future since it has concluded that institutional sales are deemed to be offers of securities. Will an appeal be submitted by the SEC? Whether or not the Securities and Exchange Commission will seek an appeal against the ruling is a question that has not been answered. An influential attorney by the name of Jeremy Hogan recently made the observation that the Securities and Exchange Commission, as you can see, has very little to lose by submitting an appeal, the submission of which can be completed in as little as 15 minutes, while the writing of a brief takes 70 days. As a result of this, the Securities and Exchange Commission would have been able to maintain the pressure that was being applied to Ripple while the company was formulating its argument. As a consequence of this, there have been rumors that the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) might not intend to move further with the appeal because there has been no appeal filed up to this point. Differences of opinion can be seen within the community. There are many who believe that the approach taken by the SEC could involve a submission at the very last minute in order to prolong regulatory uncertainty and hinder the advancement of XRP. While there are users on X who are certain that the delay in the SEC indicates a decreasing probability of an appeal, there are some users who contend that the technique employed by the SEC may involve the possibility of an appeal. The Securities and Exchange Commission is accused of being a schizophrenic organization that stifles innovation and gives its banker friends additional time, as stated by a user who said that the SEC would wait until the final 10 seconds before filing its appeal. On the other side, there are users who have a positive outlook. The conclusion of the appeal process would finally free XRP, and we would be able to understand its actual price, according to the assertions of one user who believes that the price of XRP has been managed and suppressed. Those solicitors who have worked for the Securities and Exchange Commission in the past have stated that it is quite likely that the regulator will launch an appeal. The agency has around 2 weeks remaining to submit the appeal, according to recent events in the disagreements between Ripple and the SEC and the appeal of the conclusions. The appeal will be submitted by the agency. The decision that Judge Torres made in the XP case is currently being considered as a possible alternative. It has been stated by legal counsel that the Securities and Exchange Commission, also known as SSTEC, will wait until the very last possible moment to publish its conclusion. It has also been reported by solicitors who have worked with the Securities and Exchange Commission in the past that the agency will almost certainly launch an appeal. The appeal that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission filed in the Ripple v. SEC case appeared to be the most assured, according to Mark Fagel and James Farrell, who had previously worked as attorneys for the Securities and Exchange Commission. In their defense, they assert that they do not file an appeal. A huge amount of repercussions will be incurred by the government agency. It should be noted that the material that has been supplied is not intended to serve as business advice. In the event that any investments are made on the basis of the information that is provided on this page, there is no responsibility for those investments. Prior to making any choice on investments, we strongly recommend performing independent research and talking with a professional who is educated in the field.